What if the biggest shift in education right now isn't technology, but how we use our brains? We're living in what experts call the fourth industrial revolution, a time of artificial intelligence, automation, digital platforms, and constant connectivity. But here's the truth. This revolution isn't just about smarter machines. It's about redefining what makes humans valuable. And that changes everything about education. For most of history, power came from ownership. If you owned land, factories, or resources, you controlled production. You controlled opportunity. But today, platforms like YouTube, podcasts, and online learning communities have completely changed the game. You don't need to own a television station to broadcast your ideas. You don't need a publishing company to teach. You don't need permission to create impact. Ownership matters less. Contribution matters more. Access matters more than position. Today, anyone with insight, creativity, and initiative can create influence. And that tells us something important about the future. In the past, education focused heavily on information. Memorize the facts, pass the test, get the credential. But information is now everywhere. AI can retrieve it instantly. Search engines can organize it faster than any human. So what can't be automated? You. Your personality, your creativity, your perspective, your authenticity. Influencers, educators, and leaders today aren't valuable simply because of what they know. They're valuable because of who they are. And those qualities, creativity, empathy, insight, are deeply human and deeply neurological. Individuality is no longer a liability in education. It's an asset. Here's the challenge. Most of our education systems were designed during the third industrial revolution. They were built for a world that needed memorization, standardized testing, passive learning, and uniform outcomes. That model worked when stability and predictability defined success. But today's world is fast, uncertain, and constantly evolving. And memorizing information is no longer enough. The future belongs to learners who can direct their own learning, adapt quickly to change, stay emotionally steady under pressure, think creatively, and collaborate effectively. Notice something important. These aren't content skills. They're brain skills. Self-regulation, cognitive flexibility, focus, resilience. These are functions of the brain, and they can be trained. The future doesn't reward the person who knows the most. It rewards the person who can use their brain most effectively. That's why we're seeing a major shift. Corporations are investing in mindfulness training. Schools are integrating social-emotional learning. Researchers are studying attention, resilience, and emotional intelligence. Not as wellness trends, but as performance strategies. Why? Because the brain drives everything. Every decision, every reaction, every creative breakthrough, every leadership moment. Education that ignores how the brain works limits human potential. Education that trains the brain intentionally unlocks it. The fourth industrial revolution isn't just asking us to learn more. It's asking us to evolve. The real competitive advantage in the age of AI isn't competing with machines. It's mastering your own brain. Because when you can focus deeply, regulate your emotions, adapt to change, and think creatively, you become irreplaceable. The future of education isn't about more content. It's about helping people become conscious leaders of their own minds. And that may be the most important education of all.